Every legitimate sport was once considered too violent, too dangerous, or too barbaric to exist. When two athletes sprint full speed down a 15-foot lane with only one rule, don't step out before impact, we're witnessing either the birth of something extraordinary or the final gasp of viral chaos before it collapses under its own brutality. Run It Straight has already crossed 5 million views, drawn blood from a dozen competitors, and sparked the same heated debates that once surrounded bare-knuckle boxing and early mixed martial arts. The question isn't whether it's too extreme to become a real sport, history proves that means nothing, but whether it possesses that rare combination of structure and savagery that transforms human collision into athletic legacy. The collision happens in seconds, but we watch it frame by frame. Two athletes lock eyes from opposite ends of a lane barely wide enough for one person. They explode forward. Muscle meets muscle. Physics takes over. Someone hits the ground. This is what captured millions of views across social media. No elaborate production, no corporate sponsorship, just raw human competition distilled to its most primal form. We share these videos because something ancient in us responds to the simplicity. Two people, one path, pure determination. The appeal cuts through everything we've complicated about modern sports. There's no equipment to master, no playbook to memorize, no season-long strategy. Just you versus another person in a test of will and physics. The lane forces honesty. You can't dodge. You can't negotiate. You commit or you don't. Viral culture amplified what gyms and college campuses had been doing quietly for years. Every collision became content. Every impact generated comments, debates, challenges. The algorithm loved the drama. We loved the authenticity. Here was competition stripped of everything except the confrontation itself. That primal appeal is exactly what makes us uncomfortable. Because if we're honest, we're not just curious about Run It Straight. We're drawn to it. And that attraction demands explanation. If you enjoy breakdowns that go deeper than the highlights, into the physics, the biology, and the real mechanics behind these collisions, subscribe to WildSportsX, because formats like Run It Straight are evolving quickly, and we're analyzing what's really happening behind the impact. Now let's go deeper. The origins in the dirt trace back to places where competition needed no permission. College weight rooms in 2020, high school practice fields after hours, gym parking lots where athletes marked lanes with chalk and settled debates the oldest way humans know how. We didn't call it Run It Straight then. We called it testing yourself. Someone would draw two lines. Someone else would accept the challenge. Word spread through group chats and locker room conversations. No rulebook existed because none was needed. The lane itself was the rule. What made it spread wasn't complexity, but the opposite. While mainstream sports demanded specialized facilities and expensive equipment, Run It Straight required 20 feet of space and the courage to use it. That simplicity became its power. Any athlete could participate. Any surface could become an arena. The barrier to entry was purely psychological. By 2022, scattered challenges had evolved into informal competitions. Gyms started hosting sessions. Athletes began training specifically for collisions. Someone filmed a particularly dramatic impact and posted it online. Then another, then hundreds. The algorithm recognized what we already knew. This was competition in its most honest form. The viral explosion of 2023 didn't create Run It Straight. It revealed what had been growing in the margins, waiting for the world to pay attention. We were already hooked before we knew its name. The legitimacy question forces us to confront what we actually mean when we call something a sport. We think we know the answer until we examine the history. Boxing in the 1800s was illegal street fighting, bare-knuckle brawls in alleys and warehouses. No weight classes, No round limits. Men fought until someone couldn't continue. Society called it barbaric violence. Then the Marquis of Queensberry introduced rules in 1867. Suddenly, structure transformed savagery into the sweet science. We watched the same evolution with mixed martial arts. In 1993, the Ultimate Fighting Championship promoted itself as no-holds-barred combat. Senators called for bans. Cable providers refused to broadcast it. Critics labeled it human cockfighting. The sport nearly died. Then came weight classes, time limits, unified rules, athletic commissions. The chaos that almost killed MMA became the structure that legitimized it. Even American football faced an existential crisis. By 1905, 18 college players had died from injuries. President Theodore Roosevelt threatened to ban the sport entirely unless it reformed. The forward pass, protective equipment, and stricter rules didn't weaken football. They saved it. Every legitimate sport we celebrate today was once exactly what Run It Straight is now: raw competition that society hadn't decided to accept. The pattern repeats because legitimacy isn't inherent. It's granted through a specific transformation. Structure doesn't dilute the essence. It protects it. We're watching that exact inflection point play out in real time. Run It Straight has the primal appeal. It has the audience. It has athletes willing to compete. What it doesn't have yet is the framework that separates organized sport from viral spectacle. The question isn't whether Run It Straight can become legitimate. The question is whether it will choose to. The controversy paradox reveals itself in every comment section, every debate, every concerned article. The more people argue about whether Run It Straight is too dangerous, the more attention it receives. The more attention it receives, the more athletes want to compete. We're watching criticism fuel exactly what it claims to oppose. Safety concerns dominate the conversation. Medical professionals point to concussion risks. Parents worry about young athletes mimicking what they see online. Insurance companies refuse coverage. Universities ban it from campuses. Every warning sounds reasonable until we remember that football, hockey, and boxing all faced identical objections. The danger isn't killing Run It Straight, it's authenticating it. The viral growth mechanics operate on conflict. Algorithms prioritize engagement, and nothing engages like controversy. Every safety debate generates thousands of responses. Every ban attempt creates dozens of reaction videos. Every collision shared with concern gets shared again with celebration. We've built an attention economy that rewards exactly this tension. The paradox intensifies because both sides are right. Yes, collisions carry real injury risk. Yes, the format needs safety protocols. But also, yes, the controversy itself has become the primary growth engine. The debate isn't peripheral to Run It Straight's rise. The debate is the rise. We're not arguing about whether this should exist. We're fueling its existence through the argument itself. Evolution's crossroads demand a choice that will define everything that follows. Run It Straight stands where boxing stood in 1867, where MMA stood in the late 1990s, where football stood in 1905. The moment when raw competition must decide whether to embrace structure or fade into memory. We can see both paths clearly. One leads towards standardized lanes, weight classes, sanctioning bodies, and television contracts. Official competitions with medical staff and insurance coverage. Training facilities designed specifically for collision sports. Athletes who compete professionally rather than for viral views. That path offers longevity, legitimacy, and the infrastructure that transforms spectacle into institution. The other path maintains the chaos. Parking lot challenges, unregulated collisions, viral moments without oversight, pure, unfiltered competition that refuses to compromise its essence for acceptance. That path offers authenticity, but risks becoming a cautionary tale rather than a sport. History suggests structure wins. Every combat sport that survived made this choice. But history also shows that timing matters. Move too fast and you lose the grassroots energy. Move too slow and the moment passes. We're watching that decision unfold in real time. The collision that started in the dirt now stands at the threshold of something larger. Whether it walks through that door or stays in the lane depends on choices being made right now. For more Run It Straight analysis, check out the playlist on screen now and subscribe to WildSportsX so you don't miss the next impact.